So guys, this is a very special episode. I am the only unpublished person in the room currently right now. We all know that Kiran's got a book, but we've got Dave Streen, good friend of mine. Wow, we've been friends for a while, huh?
About a decade, I
Dude,
think.
yeah, 2 decades,
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
5 decades. We've been friends. It's been amazing. So he's got this new book coming out. Kiran, tell us a little bit what the title is.
So it's we talk about all these ideas and people wanting to start a business, and Dave's book hits right the nail on its head because it says have $1 million idea but not sure where to start. Invent to get rich, and at the end he says in God we trust. So Dave, I'm very excited about your new book because not only do you start with like from the idea to how to market it and how to sell it. So can you tell us about this new exciting book?
So yeah, I'm very excited to bring it out. Basically, I think that everybody we meet has $1 million idea, and I use that term, loosely or whatever. Everybody's got a brilliant idea that can make a lot of money and be successful with, and nobody knows where to start. So we've all been in the store and been like, oh man, I had that idea 6 years ago, and I wish I would have done something with it. Well, we don't know what that something is.
Right.
So this book I've brought, through my tool company, I've brought over 100 products to market. And this is the blueprint that I actually started writing this for myself, just as a playbook to run my own company, because I was tired of making the same mistakes over and over. And by the time I was done with it and using it, and it was helping me a lot to avoid the same mistakes and everything, I figured, hey, why not turn this into a book and share it with the general public?
Dude,
help other people.
I love that. Kiran, last time we talked about people who, we all have those friends that have tons of ideas, and you talk to them, they've always got the next brilliant idea, and they don't do jack squat with it, right? They don't do anything with it. And so you've actually created a game plan for yourself on, okay, how do I get it out of my head as an idea and actually put it into action and make it a viable, profitable business?
Yeah.
I love that.
And I tried to make it as simple as can be. It's an easy read, it's very short, very simple, and just step by step how to do it.
Okay, talking about steps, let's step back. Step back to your early 20s or your childhood. Just bring us up to speed on where you have been and what you've been up to. You look like a 30-year-old right now.
So, well,
youngest guy in the room.
Youngest guy in the room.
You don't see my gray on the camera. So let's see. My parents were entrepreneurs, and I was just brought up in that environment and watching how they interact with customers and clients and how they sell and market things and everything. So I've always been fascinated with that and had that in the back of my head.
What kind of business were they in?
So they had a store called Creative Hands that was the longest running store in this historic town called Long Grove, Illinois, up until last year when my dad passed away. So I think it was 40 some years.
What a legacy to leave behind, though.
Yeah,
man.
it was really, really neat, and I learned so much, watching, him and my mom conduct business and everything.
So from Illinois, you moved to Arizona when?
So let's see, I'll run through real quick. So grew up in Chicago, and then when I went to college, I went to University of Kansas. When I was 19, I met my wife, Stacy, now. So we've been together.
You guys have been together for a minute. Yeah, that's good, man. I love that. Stacy's great.
So, and after college, I lived in Kansas City for about a decade. I ran car washes there. My car wash love started in high school. I was running car washes. I was making a ton of money. I was great at it. After college, I got a degree in economics and business administration, was going to go get the corporate job, and decided, wow, I would be miserable wearing a suit and sitting behind the desk.
Right.
And the entry pay was terrible and whatever. So I went right back and worked for the car washes for a bit.
Yeah.
And during that time, I lost my mom, but I was able to. Thanks. Yeah, she battled cancer for a long time. She died when she was 49.
Wow.
I was in my early 20s, but I got to go and spend a month or two with her and help her through the end and all of that. So
wow.
I was,
well, what a gift
really
to be able to do that
and,
for that piece.
Yeah. And so then after Kansas City, we moved to Las Vegas for a few years, and then we had our daughter, and I decided I wasn't going to raise a girl in Las Vegas. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we went back to the Midwest and lived there for about a decade, and then been here in Arizona for about a decade.
Dude, very nice, man.
Yeah. Bounced around a bit.
So his story, we always say, oh, it's an American dream for immigrants. But look at him. He was from Illinois, and then he chose not to go for the corporate carrot, right?
Absolutely.
And then he chose to run his own business, be it small, be it something not as innovative, to where he is very innovative. In car wash business, it just the sound of it sounds very simple, but still it's a business, and all your business experience comes through, and now you're doing much more sophisticated stuff. So how did you get into this, like manufacturing and patenting your ideas?
So I'll put a little bit in between there. So the car wash taught me so much. I was the #1 salesman for every unit that I worked at and everything. So I was
let's
tens
pause
of
there.
thousands of opportunities.
What is give us? We'll let you continue on that, but give us the 1 or 2 things that you did learn from that experience that you felt played a role in your success here.
Seeing how little tiny things that you adjust makes a huge difference. So in the car wash, I was an efficiency expert. I would learn that if you could shave a few seconds off each procedure, and you're doing that 1,000 times a day, it just adds up.
Right.
You know, that compound effect.
Okay,
Oh,
I like that.
yeah,
So-
love it.
And then how has that affected your more advanced businesses where you're at now? Like, in what ways has that lesson you learned in the car wash affected you now?
The efficiency stuff. So before I got into the tools, I was actually a technician repairing the dents in automobiles, and I was, to my own horn, I was one of the best. I went all over the world fixing hail damaged cars, and I was so good at it that I blew my shoulder out. Okay, just working too much. The tools weren't ergonomic. I didn't know to stretch before working and all that, like professional athletes do. They stretch and warm up.
Right.
Never occurred to me. You know.
Right. You don't think
see
about
your
it.
plumber or electrician doing stretches before they're getting out of
exactly.
the sink. You know, so it's something we need to be, you know, aware of our bodies and whatever. And so that's where the tools came in. When I lost the ability to actually work, my income went from very high to zero, and I had to kind of figure out, what am I going to do next? Well, I started making tools that were ergonomically designed to help the technicians to avoid the mistakes that I made.
Man, you covered a couple things. So your that business with the tools solved a problem that you were experiencing in your life, and you realized, okay, if I have this problem, other people have this problem, right? And then you use the lessons of shaving off those, increasing your efficiency, right? And that obviously played a role in the success of that tool business that you're doing.
Definitely.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So right now, what is your focus? Like, is it marketing this book the focus, or your tool business, or what is your focus? Can you elaborate?
I've sort of been living a dual life, if you will.
Most entrepreneurs do that.
Yeah.
So that's good.
A lot of hats.
Edgy Tools is my tool company, and I love that. I'm passionate about it. I have so much fun with it, and but I also have this other secret life where I do learn and teach people all this high-level marketing. So I work for Joe Polish, who does the I Love Marketing podcast and Genius Network, and I teach his ELF business program, which ELF stands for Easy, Lucrative, and Fun. And we all go into business. We want that freedom. We want to have a business that's easy, lucrative, and fun, but most of us have what Joe calls a half business: hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. And so the
hard, annoying,
lame and
frustrating.
And it could also be lucrative and frustrating.
Right.
But so I take the entrepreneurs and try and transition them from having a half business to an ELF business.
So what are some things, maybe some core things that keep popping up time and time again with almost every entrepreneur you meet with that are their pain points?
No matter what industry, we're all suffering from the same things: time constraints, resource constraints. You know, just having our schedule working for us and the systems in place. So it doesn't matter what industry, what occupation you're in, it's very similar struggles. And, you know, watching people transition, there's the, you know, keep it small and keep it all, or you can go really big. Both work really well. That area in between is kind of a danger zone.
What's dangerous about being
in that growing area? You don't have the team you need to be the big guy. You go through imposter syndrome. There's a lot of pitfalls.
I feel like I'm in that
you need
zone
to
right now.
get around, and so it's like, and you can almost like clump them together by income. Like if you're If you're doing, 100 grand, you have this set of problems. If you're doing 250 grand, you're having this set of problems. If you're doing $1 million and above, you still have problems. They're just different problems.
Dude, what you just hit on something really interesting to me, because as you know, I'm a photographer. As a creative, one thing that creatives really struggle to do is they struggle to talk about money. They struggle to talk about how well their business is doing financially, because to them it's all about the art and their passion, right? And I get that, because that's why we get into it. But when it comes to like being a creative and a successful business owner, you have to be willing to talk about those numbers and stuff, because what you just demonstrated was that at different levels of income of your business, you have different problems that you're solving, right?
Yeah.
And the solutions that you're able to get from mentors or coaching or whatever it might be are going to be different along that path. And if you're not willing to discuss or be open to those things, those solutions may never come to you. And I find that most creatives, the starving artist is a theme for a reason, because artists fail completely on the majority of them to even consider that as an option, right? They're like, well, we all have our different excuses for that. And so that's one thing that I really envy the two of you in your industries at, is because you have those conversations more easily with your peers.
Yeah.
And also what I found is, especially since we used to own a hospice, and then that's a totally different business. Then we got into real estate, then mortgages. What I found is between 7 to 10 years is where you hit the plateau, in the sense that you have to then decide to make a choice whether you want to make it grow further or you want to just keep it small. But the danger of keeping it small is you die off, because you stop to innovate, and then because your brain already tells you that you don't want to grow in this business, then slowly you tend to burn out, and then you don't innovate, and then your competition, you just realize that the competition will take over soon. So that's why it's very important for any business to keep growing, because if you don't grow, you die off.
Yeah,
it's like such a painful death that you will realize after the fact.
100%.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and yeah, we're just like plants or anything else. You're either growing or you're dying. You know? And so that's where I'm a huge fan of reading books, going to seminars, joining groups, anything that's going to push the envelope, teach you. There's a visual that I wish I could share that's great, that shows when you first hear about something, you think, wow, I know it all. Right. And the more you actually learn about it, the more you realize, wow, there's so much more that I can learn. And so we tend to be overconfident jumping in, and then as we should be gaining confidence, we're actually losing confidence because we're seeing how much more.
Yes.
There's a really great photographer who just did a YouTube video on that concept, where in the beginning, as photographers, we kind of feel like we know it all. We've got this inflated sense of self and ego. And as you grow in the industry, then you start realizing, wow, I've got so much to learn. And you get that beginner mindset again.
It's such a common theme, because a lot of people get into the real estate industry thinking that they love showing homes, and they think that's all there is to it.
That's all they need, right?
But then after you're there for like 10, 20 years, then you realize that there is so much to learn. We didn't even touch the iceberg after 10 years. Right? I feel like it. Yeah. Because they're not only buying and selling homes, then there's short sales, then there's apartments, office complexes, everything. Coming back to your story, Dave, I'm first of all, I'm very humbled to learning your experience about you coming from different varied background to writing books and marketing. I'm pretty sure you have some good habits in you that the entrepreneur should adopt, like maybe you have a morning routine, afternoon routine, evening routine. So can you talk about some of these routines or the habits that you're proud of?
Sure. Yeah, I've got, I've learned that there's, and I forget who to credit it to, but win the morning, win the day. I'm a very big believer in that, and the habits and the triggers that you set up in the morning can change your outlook and everything that happens. So some of the things that I do, one is I offer a free gift on davestreen.com. It's just a little, I call it a stop sign. Okay. But stop, and this is going to sound so cheesy, but it's the first thing I do, like literally when your eyes open or before your eyes open, you stop. Okay. So what that means is you're going to smile. Right. Okay. You're going to think about something as the T. Okay, whatever you think about, I don't care if it's business, relationship, whatever you think about, then you're going to observe. Okay. What happened to the smile? Did it get bigger? Did it stay the same? Did it go away?
Gotcha.
Okay, and then the P is either plan or pray. based on your beliefs.
I like
So
that.
stop. Can you repeat what
Yeah.
S?
So smile,
Smile.
think,
Think.
Okay.
just whatever pops into your head,
Right.
and then observe what happened. Did
Oh,
the smile
observe.
get bigger? Did it go away?
Yeah.
If it went away, hey, what's the plan? What are we gonna or pray about it or whatever? What do we need to do to make that thing that we're obviously not liking go away or change
Dude, I
into
love
something
that,
we
man.
like? So it's a real simple little tool.
Strong. That's
great.
The free PDF will talk you through a little bit more of that or something.
But it gives you
that's
this
just a
sense of
real
self-awareness.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. Immediately.
Yeah.
The beginning of the day.
Every day in the morning.
yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't turn into
So-
an Android the moment you pick up your phone and start checking
before
everything,
your
right?
phone or anything. So it just gives you a mind frame, and that whatever's popping in first is top of mind. So you'll be surprised. It'll be a pretty powerful
love
thing to
that,
do it
man.
really simple and whatever. The next thing I do in my mornings is my uncle taught me this called up and out.
Okay. What does that mean?
It means like obviously I'll go to the restroom or whatever, but then I'm out. I'm out the door, my shoes are on, and I'm walking. Okay, and that's I usually do what I call walk and talk. I'll either call up an old friend, a family member, a colleague, whoever I want to talk to.
Yeah.
I'll just talk to them. Okay, and it's the best conversations that I have during the day because there's no distractions. There's no interruptions.
something you do
And
too.
so
Yeah.
He does it at
that-
4 in the morning
yeah.
with this guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I'm not a member of that club. So,
No, that's why I call my dad in India.
Yeah.
What
Oh, okay.
I can totally relate to what you're saying on two things, right? Morning is like the golden hour, they say, right? As soon as you wake up, the stop thing is
Yeah.
something that I'm going to adopt immediately, because for me, the 30 minutes before I go to bed is so valuable, and the 30 minutes after you wake up is so valuable. So the worth of that hour, like 30 minutes before you go to bed and 30 minutes after you wake up, is like it's almost equivalent to like maybe 6 hours of my day.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because in the
Yeah.
night, I actually look back on what went well for me or how the day was a win for me. And in the morning, basically I make the plan, right? For the next day, saying that, okay, how can I make the next day win? Because not every day is a win for us.
Right.
But at least you make a plan, and I love your thing wherein you stop and do it. And then talking to my dad in the morning, because usually around 4:35 is when I call my dad. And those conversations are like no interruptions, and it's the best conversations I have in my day.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that. I feel like I'm the complete opposite because as a creative, I'm like 2 or 3 in the morning. That's when I'm getting like a bunch of my ideas and I'm sitting down and doing some stuff. And so I guess the point is different paths for different people, but I'm definitely not a morning person. So if you're not either, don't feel like success isn't going to come your way just because of that.
Yes. So sorry to cut you off. So go on. So
Yeah.
your train
I
of
want
thought.
to
on-
I want to touch on that point too. I think that humans require a certain amount of sleep. So if you're getting up at 4 a.m., I'm guessing you're not staying up till 2 or 3 like
Exactly.
Shane and I are.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so it's there's a thing called the 5 a.m. club. Well, it's also the 9 p.m. club. There's
Oh, okay, yeah,
on
yeah.
the couch, whatever. So
I was
works for
usually just
you
joke around that I
works.
was born in the wrong time zone. That's
Yeah,
all
there you
that
go.
was,
There
right?
you go. Yeah.
No, they also say that in the library, right, you have all the books and there is a call number for every book. But if there is a new book released with the same subject, right, it gets inserted in the middle. How do they insert it? They insert it either towards end of the call number or the beginning of the call number. So that's what it is. When your day ends before you go to bed, the first thing in the morning or the last thing in the night is where you can really squeeze the hard stuff.
Oh, I like that.
The hard
Yeah.
stuff, like
Yeah.
they say eat the frog, right? That's another
Yeah, we
concept
talked about
wherein
that.
Yeah.
you need to do the hard stuff the first, or the creative stuff, or stuff that you're postponing. You can plan for it first thing in the morning or last thing before you go to bed. Because if you don't want to do it in the morning for whatever reason,
Right.
you have to have a plan to do it in the end of the night.
Well, Dave, what are some things that are challenges that you're having right now? Maybe some the next mountains that you're climbing in your business. Where are you
So,
at?
I always struggle with, you know me, I'm not good with calendars and scheduling and this and that.
Yeah.
If you didn't message me today, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'm
Glad
just
I
not
messaged
good
you.
with that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the kid. I always say I was the kid. You know, Saturday morning I had my backpack on, ready for school. You know, every week, and it's like, Dave, no school today. Cool, I'm going out to play. But my brain just doesn't work on normal times and everything.
Yeah.
It's just but
But
part
how-
of that is
what are
built
some-
in for freedom.
Okay.
So like I have like Dean Jackson says, what does he call it? success criteria or whatever for your perfect day or whatever. Or I know I'm successful when is how he puts it.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, so you make a list of everything you know you're successful when, and one of mine is I don't set an alarm clock. Okay, I set an alarm clock about 12 times a year, and it's usually for something I'm really excited about.
Dude, I
Okay.
love that, man, because that means that you're literally on your own time and your
Yeah.
own schedule, and the things that are in your life are worth it enough to where you're like, I'm excited to go. I'm going to wake up on time, or going to be out there late enough to do whatever it is because I want to, not because I have to necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole benefit of being an entrepreneur. You don't want to be time bound. That's the whole point of why we walked away from the benefits, we walked away from the 401ks and all that. We created our own life because we don't want to be bound by the clock. In fact, it says, how do you define success is something that you want to do, with whom you want to do, when you want to do, at what time want you do, and where you want to do it. So you seem to be living that dream wherein you feel that you're successful in the sense that you're hitting your goals all the time. So can we talk about goals? Are you like a goal setter, and do you follow through? Like, what is your opinion on writing down the goals?
I went through a period where I was all about the goals, and they have to be smart, specific, timely, measurable, and all that. And I went really deep on all that, and I think it's not as important. I think you need to know where you're going for sure.
Yeah.
But knowing what you're chasing is critical. And most of us chase the next shiny object or too many things, or we think we want to do 5 different things or whatever.
Yeah.
But I recently read the analogy of, if there's one thing, like right now I know my focus is going to be my book and this platform and the supporting the boot camps and things that go along with it.
Right.
So if that's my mountain
Okay.
off in the distance, anytime I'm going away from the mountain, I can quickly look and course correct.
Oh, I
and
love that.
get right back on it.
But so that means that
Okay.
your idea is big enough to that you can see it
Yeah.
on the horizon.
Yeah.
Because if it's a small little hill, you're going to lose track of it. And so your why is big enough. I love that.
So it's a combination. He still has his goal, but it's so big that it's literally overshadowing his other thoughts, in the sense that it's a goal right there.
And you have to break that up. So I know
Okay.
what I need to do that is on the path to that mountain.
Right.
But it's also the journey is that mountain. Like I read a great thing that like, let's say I get to the top of that mountain and I've achieved it. You set your backpack down and go, it doesn't, like that's not where happiness is. Happiness is every step getting towards that
100%,
mountain.
dude,
So that's
100%.
a lot of us lose focus on that, and we're chasing the wrong things.
Let's look at somebody, the entrepreneur, who is a hobbyist, you're part-time, maybe you're working a full-time job, and you want to make that leap, okay? What are some strategies that they can use to take themselves and say, okay, let me develop that vision. How do I develop my why? How do I take those first few steps on that path? What are some tips that you could give to them?
First of all, there's no right or wrong way. We've all done it different ways. There's smart ways and dumb ways. I've done things dumb ways a lot of times and they work, and I've done things smart ways. They don't. So we all have to define that for ourselves.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of entrepreneurs let that excitement carry them away, and they quit their day job to pursue their next dream. Well, now you just cut the funding and security and stable base and everything that was working in your life to chase something that now maybe it would work if you had enough extra
runway.
Well, I see that mistake made sometimes, which, hey, if you've got a great, nest egg set aside and plenty of room to coast and whatever, do it that way, But if you're struggling and, you're tired of not, living paycheck to paycheck, don't quit your job. Okay? So there's things like that. And then a lot of us worry about having one foot on each ship, and then what happens if they go away? You fall in the middle or whatever.
Right.
But I think that's where most of us need to live, and I think we need to focus on keeping more of our weight over here where it's stable and less weight over here until we get to that tipping point, and then we can jump.
Gotcha. And what are some indicators that would tell you that, hey, you've got enough over here that you can make that jump?
I think most of it is finances. It's proven sales and stuff. It's I don't care if you have 100,000 Facebook likes or whatever, like that's not going to pay the bills. And that's
Creatives, listen to this.
Yeah.
Creatives, please listen to this.
And unfortunately, like there's very little of money. Like money is a big part of why we go into business, and profits like key.
Right.
And a lot of people struggle with that, and they feel guilty about making a nice profit or something.
Yeah.
So like you need that, but it's not the most important things. So
Right.
you need to keep your main priorities. Okay. A lesson that I learned last year that was just great for me was show me your schedule and I'll show you what you care about. Okay. Well, you look at your schedule and it's work, you know, and then maybe it's something on the weekend my family gets a little bit of time or whatever. No. So what the guy instructed me was schedule the most important things first.
Mm-hmm.
Time with my family, the time for my friends. I'm always going to find time to work. You know,
That's true. That's true.
so-
Entrepreneur will always
That's
find
so
time to
important.
work.
Yeah, we
so
can always
schedule
find
the
time.
most important things first. And if you say, you know, hey, my kids are the most important thing to me, show me where you're living that.
You know what, and that ties in a lesson that I've learned over the years is being committed when you make those commitments, especially to the people who are not associated with your business, who are just simply family and friends. If you've said, hey, I'm going to be there for dinner or lunch, be there for dinner or lunch. If you're saying in my case, my girlfriend, hey, we're going to do dinner tonight, no matter what kind of day we've had, we know that we're going to be there. And that's something that she counts on. And I feel like as an entrepreneur, I can get sidetracked with my business, and I can always fill time with what I'm doing in my business. But people around me, they don't really do that the way that an entrepreneur does. And they need those opportunities to connect with you because they might have been looking forward to that way more than you were for whatever reason because you were so involved in your business. And so it's an opportunity for you to reconnect with those people that are most important to you and say, okay, I'm doing all this business stuff so I can have a better lifestyle with you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
So important.
regrounding yourself to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I can totally relate to it. When coming back to his original point, when will you quit your day job to start a business, right? That's the chicken and egg solution problem every entrepreneur faces in the first phase of life, because these days with the wages and the job market so good, even if you show up, you get paid well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you really don't have to put in a lot of hard work, still you can get paid. How do you walk away from that to start your own business is the biggest challenge. Like the desire to become an entrepreneur should be deep, but then having a good job early in your life or having a well-paying job early in your life is going to help tremendously, because your confidence is higher, you can afford the basic necessities, you can save for the nest egg, and your responsibilities are lower. Then the later in the life, the worse it gets for you to change.
It gets harder.
It's get harder and harder. If somebody who is younger in their 30s or 40s, if they think that they still need some more time because they feel it's harder, then I can guarantee that it's going to get harder 5 years from then.
We talk about this all the time. There's no right time,
Yeah.
right? It's just you got to take some action, man.
I always equate it to having kids. There's no perfect time,
Just,
you know,
yeah.
but you just got to do it or whatever. So, yeah, and that's an excellent point. And it's just like if you look at a financial planner is going to say, oh, buy stocks that are risky now when you're young and then transition to bonds when you're older. Take the risks in business and in life when you're young. Travel.
I love that idea.
You know, start businesses, fail often. Like
Yes.
it sounds terrible, but I fail all the time at things and make mistakes and whatever, and that's how we learn.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, that's
Yeah.
why I'm so big on reading books and going to seminars and different things. Hopefully, I'm learning vicariously through other people's mistakes
Yes.
more than continually making my own.
Well, dude, as we wrap up, we've got about a minute left. Give us some aha that you want to leave the audience with as we finish up here.
I guess gratitude. You know, when we're grateful for what we've have and what we've pulled off and what we're doing and learning and all of that, there's no room for fear and all the other negative things. So if you practice gratitude and are aware of what's going on and what you're blessed with, even if you're struggling and having bad times or whatever, there's the worst day in the world, something good happened to you that day. Focus on that nugget, and you'll have a better outcome. And again, the more grateful you are and the more you're aware of that, the more blessings will come your way.
That's
that,
terrific.
man.
So before we sign off, so this is a book that Dave is releasing very soon. Dave, we are very excited about your new book coming up.
Yeah.
So you are also gracious enough to offer a copy of the free book to our audience.
Yep.
So can you tell us how they can get a copy?
Just go to freeinventbook.com and that'll walk you through the options there.
Okay,
So,
great.
yep.
We are so excited.
much.
New book, check it out, Dave. And then if you need any help with marketing or doing the big idea,
Yeah.
reach out to Dave.
Yep.
Very cool.
All right there. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks. Pleasure.